Here's actually an interesting topic that I wanted to bring to you guys. And ironically, I have the cards to back it up. Yeah. So let me tell you a little story. Before this year's ban list was done, um, I already had a lot of my decks ready to go. And then I had my friend Yakimo call me up, and he gave me the full spoiler list, the official spoiler list for the ban list. Not for the OCG, but for the TCG. Yeah, that was an even bigger surprise. Among the cards that he told me was Pot of Avarice. I almost cried when I found out this thing got hit and we would not be seeing it again. And then that's when I realized, like that same day, or it was the next day. I don't remember which one, but regardless, after he told me that, I remember seeing the Shadow Specters spoiler list, and that's what this came up. Pot of Dichotomy. That's when I knew, like, okay, now I know why Avarice got banned. This thing is coming out now. With this out, this thing is useless. Like, you can forget about it. This is pretty much the new thing. But that's when I realized that it's not just that, if anything. I don't even think that's what Konami was going for. Pot of Avarice, again, mermails. That's exactly what mermails need. More recycling, more everything. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm still pretty pissed off that I lost against mermail so easily the other day. So excuse if I'm being a little harsh, but you should be happy that I'm being harsh. At least now you know your deck is broken as fuck. Anyway, Dichotomy. Dichotomy kind of has the same effect as Avarice, whereas Avarice is just shuffle 5 monsters from the graveyard back into the deck and draw 2 cards. Simple as that. If anything, it's better than Pot of Greed. With Pot of Dichotomy, it's a little similar. Like shuffle 3 monsters back into the deck, draw 2 cards, can't attack the turn. For that turn, also, this has to be the first card you activate at the beginning of your main phase 1. Also, the monsters have to be of different attributes. Different types. And it's because of that, it kind of restricts it a little bit. Because nowadays, not many decks, because a lot of decks, they're based on their own type, along their own archetype as well, and it's because of Dichotomy. They won't be able to have that recycling engine with Avarice gone, and with this already here. This is not even seeing that much play now. Avarice probably won't even come back, but at the same time, if it does, I'm pretty sure it will. If it does, then it will just give the boot to Dichotomy, and we probably won't even need it anymore. If anything, this will just be, well, it'll just be tossed in the trade binder, and Avarice will come back. I don't mind if Avarice does come back or if it doesn't. Like, I actually do miss it a little bit, but with the format how it is right now, this past 3 months, or 2.5 if anything, I don't think it would be necessary for it to come back. I'm pretty sure we'll be doing okay without it. I have a deck specifically that it could have this thing back, but at the same time, you know, what's the lesser of two evils? Like having this back here, or having everyone else have it back as well, only for them to use it against you. So yeah, I miss my Pot of Avarice, but I'm okay without it. Like, if it comes back, it'll come back when, you know, when it's necessary. The other card I want to talk to you guys about is one that's very notorious to the game. It's been banned more than once. It's been hit more than once, and I kind of still miss it a little bit. But like I said, like Avarice, if it doesn't come back, I won't mind it at all. I'm still moving on. And with that being said, I'm pretty sure it's the most obvious one. It is Monster Reborn. Now, Monster Reborn it's been around since day one. Like, reborn a monster from your graveyard or from your opponent's graveyard. Simple as that. There's no cost to anything. The only cost there is if the monster was properly summoned, and it can be special summoned after the requirements were made, then Reborn will just bring it back. If the monster was, you know, Warning, or in the case of last format, Judgment, then that's it. It won't come back. But at the same time, this one was pretty much being abused, like, so much. There was at one point where even I started to realize that this is turning out to be a dead draw. Like, when you draw it early on in the game and you don't really need to, you know, reborn anything for the moment, you're pretty much okay with what you got. But the reason why Reborn kind of got hit is because of Redox. Once again, it had to be Dragon Rulers. Yeah, Redox is a monster reborn in and of itself. We don't really need this thing anymore, given with what Redox is providing for us now. But Redox only works with, dragon type decks and earth based decks. With that being said, Monster Reborn is useless now. Well, not useless, it's still pretty useful. I mean, shit, it's broken as hell, but Konami doesn't want us abusing the hell out of it, and that's why we can't really use it now anymore. So we had to say goodbye to that. And I don't think it will come back with Redox still around, and if it's still at 3, if it doesn't get hit, Monster Reborn will not come back. But I'm pretty sure it will. I mean, there was a lot of times when, during the many courses where it was banned, it did come back. We thought it would never come back, but it did. So that's why I'm still holding on to all of my other Monster Reborns. I'm pretty sure they'll come back. At the same time, they probably won't, at least not anytime soon. But Konami at some point will realize that in the certain future they will make something, and it will be more broken than Monster Reborn. They'll have no other choice but to ban that card and bring back Monster Reborn. But with Monster Reborn gone, and this is the reason why it won't come back this format, is because we have, with the format a lot slower now, we have our own alternative, called the Haunted. With Heavy Storm gone and MST limited to 3, we don't really have to worry about this thing. It's pretty slow, I'm not gonna lie. It's a continuous trap. That's the biggest weakness right here. And then once it get MST, then, well, there you go, it's dead. But there are some cards that can actually provide a search, or they can give you a plus should they hit the grave because of this. This was pretty much, like I said, all our alternative. And people run it. They kind of ran it. I'm not going to lie, I ran it before Monster Reborn got hit. And there's some people who would use it, but I kind of took them out for the time being. And people kind of thought that, seeing as that the format was slower now, Call the Haunted would be useful, but there's some people who don't think it can survive that. Which is why, to Call the Haunted, we had another alternative, which was Pinpoint Guard. Now, when this happens, what happens with this card is that when your opponent declares an attack, you activate Pinpoint Guard, you revive a level 4 lower... Yeah, exactly, level 4 lower monster from the graveyard in face-up defense, can be destroyed by battle by card effects this turn. That is what pretty much Call the Haunted should be, but it only works in the battle phase. That's what restricts it. Worse, it only works for level 4 or lowers. Now, there are some decks that could use this. I don't think I've seen anybody aside from me use this. So, I've seen Call the Haunted used a whole lot more than Pinpoint Guard anyway, and I could see why. But at the same time, I choose Pinpoint Guard over Call the Haunted, because the decks that I run, they're basically level 4 or lower anyway. And with that being said, with Pinpoint Guard, if Call the Haunted does get banned, although I kind of doubt it, I mean, it's slow, we still got Pinpoint Guard. And this was, like I said, this was our alternative to Call the Haunted, which in and of itself was an alternative to Monster Reborn. And with that being said, alongside with Monster Reborn, we even have other spells that have Monster Reborn. This is what I mean by every other deck aside from Redox became a Monster Reborn. A lot of decks have their own Monster Reborn, if anything. Gimmick Puppets have they have Junk Puppet, which again you can activate more than once. Gagagas have Gagaga Revenge, and Photons have Galaxy Zero. With these two, along with the aforementioned card for Gimmick Puppets, and those are just the ones that I could think of off the top of my head. Like, I don't really play meta decks, if anything, so I'm pretty sure I'm missing a whole lot, but that's beside the point. The fact of the matter is, they have their own Monster Reborn already in spell form. If you add Monster Reborn in there with any of these decks that you run, you're just adding in more dead draws, if anything. Same thing with Pinpoint Guard and Call the Haunted. Like, it's okay to run more than one copy, if anything, but at the same time, it'll just be a dead draw. Aside from that, we even have our own monsters that can actually be a Monster Reborn in and of itself. We have Debris Dragon, we have Galaxy Knight, we even have the brand new, well, it's not brand new anymore, but Mass Chameleon. Now, these guys can already do the same thing. The Galaxy Knight can already bring back Galaxy as Photon Dragon. Debris Dragon can bring out a monster from the graveyard that's 500 attack points or lower. Same thing with Mass Chameleon, but only with that's a level 4 monster that's 0 attack or 0 defense. They can already do that with the effects negated, of course. They can already do that. What's the point of Monster Reborn coming back at this point? With that being said, there's really no use in Monster Reborn coming back. But yeah, those are my 2 cents on the whole thing. Thank you for watching. If you got any suggestions, if anything, some ideas, I'll be more than happy to hear from you. We still got like at least the rest of this day. We got tomorrow, and right before on Friday, whatever they can post up for the ban list. I will be happy to know what you guys will want to say. If anything, I want to hear your reactions as well. Like, you'll be hearing mine. So yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching. Leave anything if you want. This is Paradeals91, and it's lights out.